Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. And today I have for you a 1 versus 1 on Langres. Yes, indeed, another Langres-tastic match. But before that, I do have a slight jolly announcement on a more personal reason. But hey, I've finally become a bachelor in English. Huzzah, yes, indeed. At least I'm pretty damn sure I am. I've passed all the classes, so hopefully I should be at this stage, and of course that's a great thing. I'll be moving on to the candidate part of the university thing, and of course that might be called something else in your country, but nonetheless I felt it was a joyous occasion, and of course due to sort of that I'll be sort of trying to be celebrating that with perhaps putting up a few more casts during the week, although not tomorrow. I've got a rather long day at university there, so it'll be a challenge just to get up the regular one. There you go, figured that might cheer you up a bit. You'll be getting a bit more cast than usual this week. Plus we might soon be hitting 700 subscribers as well, so that might also be of course a reason to get another cast up during the week. Although if again hits tomorrow, don't expect it tomorrow, expect it Thursday. That'll work, not Wednesday. Nonetheless, 1 versus 1, Langres. Of course Langres sort of divided with the Bokashi in the center of the roads, and of course we sort of have these clusters of farm buildings here and here, and of course covering munitions points, although this one, the high, is closer to the southern base, but at the same time though the buildings and the Bokashi sort of allow for sort of creeping up on it and some rather sneaky assault maneuvers, making it in a sense a bit harder to defend if your opponent is a rather wily, tricky trickster. On the other hand, this is much more open. Then again, of course, if you're rather unfortunate and you're sort of standing about here, your opponent on the other hand can quickly sneak up and of course fire down on you from these positions, a rather nice broadside. So that is of course important. It's also not unusual to see some players go for defensive or something like that, and or at least a medic bunker right close to the front, or a medic station for that matter. Why? Well, because there's actually not a great amount of distance through here, and of course through the hotspot, which again is usually the shortest point between the two bases, which of course means that you can basically place a medic station or a medic bunker awfully close to your own base, that is much more securely than usually, and of course reap the, well, I'd rather not say harvest, since of course wounded men should be considered a bit more than that, but you can easily get back your own men. And let us go have a look at our opponents in the southern corner. We are seeing Mangler of the Wehrmacht, 91st Luftlande Division. Of course that was the glider division that was rather later on made less of a glider division and more of a regular infantry unit. Opposing them shall be our friend Rommelslayer of the American 24th Infantry Division, making their way towards Cherbourg. And in fact, let us get right down to it, starting with the perspective from the Wehrmacht, the 91st Mangler, setting up a Wehrmacht quarters. That's of course the usual thing. American friend Rommelslayer barracks, also the usual thing. You don't really see weapon supports in the starts, although there might be something with 4 engineers then a sniper, but again that's a bit more of the rarer sort, so keep that in mind. Engineers heading west, going straight for the fuel, whereas the pioneers here are ignoring all of these points and heading straight for this fuel point as well. Of course, note the strategic points here and here, making for some rather nasty cut-off points, and of course harassment. Of course these 2 points in particular are fond of being harassed, and this one of course can be harassed because there's this of course the Bokashi here, which does allow for you to creep up and then suddenly take it under your opponent's nose if he's sort of swinging heavily towards the east, which of course is not unusual because again, hotspot. So that is of course very important to note. Volksgrenadiers on the way. Volksgrenadier team number 1 hitting the field. Pionieren having secured the fuel right there. Volksgrenadiers heading towards the west, apparently not the east, and the fuel point right there has been secured, but of course strategic point has not been secured as of yet, but it looks like he's doing that now. Why could that be? Well, of course in some cases taking the fuel point first can be smarter, because in that case your troops won't be standing about in case, and could be disrupted in case the opponent runs for it, and of course he will have to take some time to decap it, whereas of course, and then of course you can take back the strategic point and at least get some fuel out of it. That might at least be the sort of reasoning. Volksgrenadier is taking this strategic point while the other Pioneer team is heading straight for this fuel point, and looks like our Wehrmacht friend has a rather heavy fuel-intensive strategy in mind, at least. Otherwise, why else go straight for these fuel points and then basically ignore every munitions point? And what is he doing? He's getting into the building, and of course, let's just briefly pause. Why would you get into do that? Well, because a building has a much higher, gives your troops a bonus to the line of sight, basically gives them much increased viewing distance and allows them to see much further. And that, of course, is a nice way of basically doing a bit of reconnaissance. Pop your troops into a building, spot what's around there, and of course, if there's nothing, get out there, and if there's and it's coming towards your troops in the building, well, why not take advantage of it? But of course, just a quick tip to you, of course, try to use buildings in sort of your reconnaissance strategies and tactics. And of course, reconnaissance should perhaps be a sort of idea again. Basically pop in, have a quick look, and then get moving again. It can really just briefly give you an idea of what's going on and perhaps spot some trouble for your head. And of course, in this case, he's spotting that, my goodness, there's some riflemen right here. Cheeky sorts. What shall I do? Well, let's watch and find out. Fog of war off, and let's return. And MG42 ready. Volksgunners will probably be advanced. Yes, getting up there. Pioneers, though, aren't getting engaged. MG42's just standing still. 91st Luftlande Pionieren. Oh dear, taking heavy losses. That one man. Oh dear, the Pioneer team was lost right there. Quite unfortunate. Volksgun is advancing. Riflemen pulling away, cutting off this strategic point. And of course, the fuel. Good move there. Rather aggressive and bold from Rommelslayer. The MG42 finally getting about, but it's too late. More Volksgunners on the way. Will there be some replacement Pioneers? No, leaving behind only one team. Riflemen here. Riflemen pulling up behind the haystacks for some heavy cover, which will protect them, whereas the Volksgunners will only be in light cover. MG42 setting up. Riflemen taking this point here, but no, they are deciding on apparently a flanking mission. Mission to flank.
We are losing ground.
While the riflemen right here are occupying the MG42 and the Volksgunners. A very sneaky maneuver, and this could end up very badly for the MG42 if it does not spot it. But what is this? Volksgunners are moving in. This could end up very badly for the side. Volksgunners, riflemen are getting suppressed down one man. Riflemen charging in behind the MG42, opening up, but the riflemen are taking shots from the support gunners and the Volksgunners. 10 Volksgunners against 6 riflemen. My goodness, the riflemen are getting absolutely beaten up. They do manage to clear out the MG42, but they have taken heavy losses, and my goodness, they are cut down on retreat. Volksgunners reman the MG42, and the other Volksgunners get out, but not quite the best engagement for Rommelslayer. Yes, he did manage to sort of blunt the edge of the Wehrmacht, but at the same time he took some rather nasty losses himself. So not much of a victory there. Of course, he did cut down that Pioneer team, so manpower will be sort of a bit his advantage, but still not quite good. Mines right there, but the Pioneers just barely avoided. More mines being laid down there. Good job, Rommelslayer sort of figuring, well, I can't necessarily hold this. What do? Mines. Yes. And of course, currently, of course, Mr. Mangler will be holding the advantage due to the sort of advantage he gained in the rate of attrition, the war of attrition, basically by clearing out that entire rifleman team right there. Volksgun is getting ready. A sniper on the way. Volksgun has hit a mine, only taking a bit of damage and getting suppressed. Nothing worse than that. Rifleman advancing out to the field again. Of course, at this stage, it's of course hard to say what they will do. So far, there's nothing that's really indicating that Mangler, for example, might be going for a heavy tier 1 and then for something like, say, Pumas. Whereas there's nothing, again, really indicating for Rommelslayer that he's gone BAR, so going for armored cars. He's lost one rifleman team, and of course, he will have to expend more manpower to replace that lost. Rifleman marching in on the Volksgunners, but a sniper opens up on the Volksgunners, leaving them in a slightly unfortunate situation. They will have to get out of there. The rate of losses will be too great for them. There we go, running away. They probably should have run away a lot earlier. Engineers and Pioneers doing a bit of small minor fighting here in the west flank to secure this fuel point. And currently Rommelslayer has had some success in denying the Wehrmacht commander his fuel points. But for how long it will last, I cannot say. And looks like the Pioneers here were cut down by the Engineers. A brutal death. Another Pioneer team, in fact, lost for the Wehrmacht, and currently he has no Pioneer teams. Quite unfortunate, in fact. But a replacement Pioneer team will be on the way, and that might actually, those losses of Pioneers might equalize things a bit for Rommelslayer, since 2 Pioneer teams are almost equal to that of a Volksgunner team, plus the MG42 team, which could be recruit, but that was still a cost of Volksgunners towards that. Engineers and riflemen getting ready. Supply yard is up though, so that could mean that Rommelslayer is going for the motor pool. He's also getting a jeep to deal with the sniper. Of course, it could also just mean he wants to deal a bit with the upkeep, and even just building a supply yard will reduce the upkeep for you slightly. Not greatly, but slightly. Jeep charging in. Air-cooled 30 caliber Browning machine gun opening up. Volkswagen is pulling back. Clearly, the hunt for the Sniper Koenig is on, and currently Rommelslayer actually holds most of the victory points. Quite devious, and so far Mangler has not really moved in towards the southern victory point. Volkswagen is coming under heavy fire. Riflemen are charging ahead. Volkswagen is fighting against the Jeep, and a Panzerfaust goes off, damaging the engine of the Jeep. Oh dear, that was quite unfortunate for Rommelslayer. That could easily result in the loss of a Jeep. Looking very close. Sniper also close, but the riflemen and engineers are moving in to save the ass of the Jeep. Will the Jeep survive? Riflemen charging in against the Volkswagen's Jeep, opening up. No, the Jeep was lost. Quite unfortunate for Rommelslayer. But so far rather heavy tier 1 for him. And rather, of course, thus giving Mangler the impression that he's probably going for the armored cars, and of course getting a creek bags, and then the Pack 38 is usually what you then go for to sort of prepare yourself for the M8 rush. So not a bad assumption there. Of course, we'll have to see how it works off, and of course generally just having one anti-tank asset will always be a good thing. Even if he doesn't really go for any armor, just having it in case he does is really worth its weight in gold, because if you're caught out in the open with no anti-tank assets, you're in trouble. MG42, Volkswagen gunner down on it. Riflemen charging ahead, trying their best, but they get stopped right there. But Riflemen moving in from the west. MG42 could be trapped. No, it's packing up and running away. And the Riflemen run just past it. And so far, Rommelslayer has in fact secured all 3 victory points, albeit at heavy losses. Pioneers ready. Pack 38 moving out. MG42 back at base. Volkswagen is making ready for the counter-attack against the Riflemen at the fuel point. Opening up, Rifleman charging ahead right into the arms of the Volkswagen, but there are more Volkswagen than the Rifleman, and the sniper opens up. Rifleman taking heavy losses. Rifleman will need to retreat immediately. There we go, not the best engage. Oh dear, another Rifleman team is lost. Heavy losses for Rommelslayer, but at the same time, Rommelslayer has gone for the devious tactic, also having gone for a lot of the fuel. He's instead going for the tank depot, and that's certainly going to be a bit more of a sneaky trick towards Mangler and his Pack 38, because even a Pack 38 one can have some trouble with the Sherman, for example, if it's used properly. Volkswagen is pushing onwards, and a reconnaissance run, of course, spotting the Pack 38, which of course means that Airborne has called upon the support of the 101st Airborne, perhaps, and some other bits. And yes, indeed, Airborne troops have at the same time landed at the victory point. Sneaky method right there. Volkswagen is going for the fuel point, hoping to cut off Rommelslayer from his fuel. But let's just briefly pause here. What happened here? He basically used the reconnaissance run on the German base. Why did he do that? Well, because so you can see it. Basically, I mean, getting a bit of reconnaissance on your opponent's base can really give you a great advantage in knowing what does he have, what's he going for, and of course knowing that he's gone for creek barracks is quite an advantage. He knows there won't be any Stuks or Pumas, and of course there's a Pack. Yes, a Pack can be a bit of a threat, but at the same time it's going to certainly prove him that he went for the tank depot. That's a good choice. Pack 38 will have some trouble, and of course the infantry will have a lot of trouble with the Pack 38. Of course there are grenadiers on the way, but still Rommelslayer certainly managed to score a small intelligence coup right there. Airborne engaging the Pioneers, charging in with the M1 carbines. Volkswagen is up, running cover, but the Pioneers are taking an absolute beating from the Airborne, and now the Volkswagen is the only thing left. Volkswagen is coming under heavy fire, an actual fire in fact. Flamethrowers moving in, and the Volkswagen is getting burned alive. Heavy losses for them in fact. Will they make... oh dear. Looks like the Volkswagen might not make it out of there alive. No, he did make it out of there. Lucky bastard. But now the Americans are running straight into the MG42, but no, an MG42 gunner is lost just barely, and now the flamethrowers get close while the riflemen are moving in on the hunt for the sniper. Sniper runs away, but he's taking several shots. MG42 suppresses some engineers, but now he's exposing himself out in the open and making a run for it. Sniper makes it out of the Airborne, doing their best in the west. That rhymed. And as we look at Rommelslayer, in fact, yes, getting a Sherman. The Airborne, though, oh, there we go. Returning back to the objective at hand, the Volkswagen opening up on the Airborne, hiding behind the boxes and the wooden cart, while the Volkswagen don't really have much for them. This is, of course, to the advantage of the Airborne. Grenadiers are moving in, though the 91st sending in some of its more stalwart troops to handle this situation. Volksgrenadiers are retreating, Grenadiers moving in, and of course a grenade could be used quite well here against the airborne in their cover. Shell Mangler uses, and we're seeing another reconnaissance run being called in again, keeping constant tabs on the German base. Volksgrenadiers leading in the counterattack, Pioneers moving in to secure the victory point, airborne making a run for it. Heroic run, and of course, could this be that Mangler is actually trying to keep the Pak 38 away just in case? He's perhaps expecting a rush for this building and he's keeping the Pak 38, but why are you asking would he do that? Because there's sort of a sneaky tactic some Americans use with the Greyhounds. They rush in, place a mine right in front of there, so when a Pak 38 for example comes out, it hits the mine and is immediately cleared out. Sneaky tactic, and one counter is of course having a Pak hiding and keeping it under cover, another is basically placing a mine right in front of it yourself. Sherman moving in, opening up on the Volksgrenadiers. 50 cal machine gun on the way. Volksgrenadiers taking some losses. Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers moving towards the east. MG42 ready, Grenadiers in support, and the Grenadiers of Volksgrenadiers running away in the face of the Sherman. And some Pioneers hitting a mine in the west. Looks like the Americans tried for something here, but hit the machine gun bunker. Airborne getting ready. So far, no anti-tank assets. Only the Sherman. The Sherman engaging the Pioneers, sending them running away. It looks like the Germans are now focusing their attention in the center/east. Rather interesting so far. The Rommelslayer has gone for a rather interesting risky strategy. He's gone for the armor. You don't often see that, but it's certainly more common now after the latest patch, due to the pack having been nerfed. Although Rommelslayer should be careful about having it run around on its own. I mean, it could end up in a very nasty position, in particular if some extra Panzerfaust or Panzerschrecks appear. Grenadiers out in the open against the Sherman. Grenadiers trying to take the central victory point. Sherman having absolutely no luck in hitting. Right, there we go, 50 cal machine gun, and of course that is quite nasty. Getting a one hit, and the Pak 38 opens up. Sherman needs to run away, needs to pull back. No, it's charging right into the mess. This is quite bold, while some airborne are moving in after the sniper. Airborne taking some losses themselves. They will have to get out of there. Sherman trying to deal with the Pak 38. Airborne, oh dear. No Rommelslayer though, knows the airborne. This is not really looking well. And he lost him, that was quite unfortunate. Sherman, oh dear, looks like Rommel is losing control of everything. Rommelslayer that is. And a Panzerfaust and a final pack shot clears out this German. It was a bold move, but it just didn't work out. And of course you have to watch out for Panzerfaust. While they are not the strongest anti-tank weapons in combat fields, they can still do quite a bit of damage. And now the airborne are moving in, taking up cover behind the wrecked Sherman, using it still for good, for the American, for Uncle Sam. And now charging against the Pak 38. Doing what they can, but the MG42 covering it is turning this assault into a forlorn hope. Sending all the American forces into a hasty retreat. And currently things are looking a bit bad for Rommelslayer, having taken quite some heavy losses. Infantry rather battered, and a Sherman lost. So far, in fact, Rommelslayer has lost 2 infantry teams and an airborne team. So not looking good. And there we go. In fact, mines right in front of the Krieg barracks. But clearly now there's Sherman to expect. Grenadiers getting ready. Krieg barracks going up, so we might probably be seeing some veterancy for the infantry, which is not entirely unusual in these cases. Might also see some Panzerschrecks, but now veterancy for the Grenadiers. Not bad, not bad. And another Sherman on the way. It's actually refreshing to see an American who actually goes and tries to stick with the armor rather than just go, well, I lost one, I'll never touch it again. Never ever. That's a bit of an odd thing most American armored and vehicle commanders have. If it gets knocked out once, they'll never use it again during an entire game, which is a bit odd. Volksgrenadiers with veterancy 1 now, opening up on these Robin who also have veterancy 1. Engineers with flamethrowers move again. Oh dear, these Volksgrenadiers could be burned out of their cover. Flamethrowers moving in. 1 Volksgrenadier goes up in flames. No medic station or bunkers for either side. Another Volksgrenadier on fire on the run. Mines being laid down from Mangler again. MG42 hiding here but not setting up. Pioneers engaging the riflemen in the center. Rommelslayer going heavily for the victory points. Flamethrower versus flamethrower. Which flamethrower shall be the best? Apparently the German one. No, wait, looks who will win. No, wait, the Americans are forced into a run. Sherman ready, engaging some grenadiers, killing one right away. Sniper and grenadiers advancing, and so far the sniper has managed to rack up 14 kills. Good show. 15 kills. He just keeps on killing. Airborne securing in the west.
We're losing ground out there.
Pack 38 pulling up. Sherman sort of standing about here, not entirely sure what to do. Jeep on the way again. Rommelslayer apparently very keen on getting that damn sniper off Mangler. 24th not relying much against the 91st Luftlande Division so far. Engineers getting sniped. That sniper just being a bastard. Volkswagen is running away in sheer terror in the face of the Sherman. So far only 2 kills though. And Snipe could be caught out in the open by the Sherman. Oh dear, no. The Sherman focuses on the grenadiers. Open up. Jeep moves in at the same time. Oh dear, the Jeep is moving right into the path of the Pack 38. Run away, Jeep. Run away. And it's hit, but somehow it survives. Opens up on the sniper. Will it succeed? No. The Jeep does not manage to secure the killing blow against the sneaky sniper. And a strafing run, clearing out everything. That seemed awfully bold. And the Sherman clears out a grenadier team. So all of a sudden, Rommelslayer has managed to turn the tide a bit. And now this Pack 38 is caught out in the open. MG42 secured by the Americans and flamethrowers moving in. Dear, this could end up very badly for the Pack 38. There we go, spurning the crew alive. But that does not mean all is lost for Mangler. He still has 1 grenadier team, 1 Volks grenadier team, some pioneers, and now stormtrooping of the 17th SS arriving, and veterancy 2, giving stormtroopers and grenadiers elite armor, decreasing the damage and accuracy against small arms fire, but making them more susceptible to flamethrowers, and it does absolutely nothing against tank fire. I mean, high explosive shells doesn't really care about you having elite armor. So there we go, and airborne pushing for the southern victory point again. Interesting enough, no grenades so far for the Americans, or even a single BAI engineers taking this strategic point, cutting off the Germans once more from this fuel point. Stormtroopers are hanging about, getting Panzer Shreks. While the rest of the German armed forces are heavily focused in the west, pushing through there to perhaps secure some fuel points there. And mines right there to sort of deny the Germans any positions right there in the building. Good move. And a mine right here by the Pack 38. And let's just briefly pause. What is this about, you might ask? Well, in case someone decides to recruit, and in this case probably when Rommelslayer decided, well, I can't take this. I can't afford the infantry at the moment. But of course my opponent might take it, so what do? Well, I'm mining, and that basically means that when my opponent basically tries to take the Pack 38, he's going to set off that mine, possibly even clearing out the crew, although the best sort of usage for the mines best suited for this are Greyhound mines and Teller 38, or not Teller 38, but the Teller mines, of course, being even better because they aren't set off by infantry, but packs anti-tank guns do. So the infantry can move up unharmed, but as soon as they actually begin moving about, that anti-tank gun, kaboom! So there was a bit of tactics on mining and the enemy weaponry left behind. Volkswagen is advancing, secure this strategic point. Stormtroopers continuing in the east. Dual Panzer Shreks, not my favorite thing. And looks like a supply yard upgrade has been purchased, decreasing upkeep. This is good, and increasing rate of veterancy. But Rommelslayer is still short on infantry, although he's going for a medic station now. Could have helped a lot earlier, but plus he does have that German MG42 in his hands. Sherman moves in, opens up on the German troops. In fact, oh dear, observation post going up. This might be stopped and knocked out. Quite interesting. 200 manpower spent on that, and of course that is a high munitions point, so in fact will give you a lot more munitions, but no more. Interesting move there, and quickly taken out by Rommelslayer. Volkswagen is taking heavy fire, and veterancy 1 for the Sherman. Increasing the speed of it. Veterancy 2 increases penetration, and veterancy 3 increases damage done. And the stormtroopers of the 17th SS seem to have a plan in mind, going straight for the American base. Whatever shall it be. Sherman pulling back, although there are some grenadiers nearby, but there are no anti-tank weaponry. In fact, the Germans don't have anything. Oh wait, they've got a replacement Pack 38.
AT paradrop is now available.
And AT paradrops are now ready. But so far, the German commander seems to be pulling off a bit of a mistake that many players do. That is basically sticking around in tier 2, getting lots of veterans for the infantry, and then basically only relying that on anti-tank guns, which is certainly nice, but it does have some lackings itself. It rather lacks quicker mobile firepower, and also leaves you susceptible to sometimes weaponry. Now stormtroopers are moving in, opening up on the machine gun nest. Some are caught out there, and Jeep gets ready, but of course this machine gun emplacement might not make it. The stormtroopers might clear it off, and this of course could mean that Mr. Mangler has plans of a direct assault on the American base, and of course clearing out the machine gun emplacement before I do that could help. Sherman moves in. Oh dear, stormtroopers could get squashed beneath the treads, or at least to bits, because they're awfully climbed up together. Sherman moves in. There we go, one stormtrooper dead. Rest running away in the face of it. Oh dear, Rommelslayer has to be careful with this Sherman. One shot and it's gone. Lost forever, eternally. No more. The riflemen are retreating, ready to save the Sherman. Sherman pulling out of there. Stormtroopers doing the same. Grenadiers being scorched alive by the flame from them again. Elite armor makes you more susceptible. So of course if you're in elite armor and in cover, you're really going to get burned alive. And these Veterans 1 engineers are certainly also nothing to be messed about with. MG42 gunning down these stormtroopers, although none are actually lost. And looks like a push from the South Grenadiers, moving in with a Panzerschreck in support. Full Grenadiers, and now more stormtroopers called in. Stormtrooping of the 17th SS or 17th SS Panzer Grenadiers, whatever you like, getting ready on the field. Jeep spotting about there. Mines from Rommelslayer, good show. Always mining is good, and that's certainly one thing Rommelslayer is doing quite well. Plus he's also wiring this bit off. Stormtroopers advancing straight into at the Jeep. The Jeep pulling out of there. While German troops are pushing through here in the west, going for the strategic point here and also the center. Quite an interesting move. MG42 is unable to really assist with that though, and looks like a supply drop has been called in. Supplies dropped, leaving behind only the MG42 and the no, not the MG42, but the 30 caliber. Strafing around all the false Grenadiers. MG42 not turned about, leaving behind the Grenadiers with the Panzerschreck. Sherman getting repaired, although very slowly. MG42 retreating, and there seems to be nothing to stop the Grenadiers in the center or the Stormtroopers who are now been equipped with assault rifles to deal with infantry. Or Sturmgewehrs. And looks like some other Grenadiers have arrived on the field. Airborne troops dropping in. Rommel seems quite fond of them. Grenadiers firing away with a Panzerschreck, blowing away a bit some fence. But no much luck there. But Rommelslayer has been able to really stick on despite having suffered quite some incredible manpower losses, in particular early on in the game. Although the Americans can get away with that a bit easier than the Wehrmacht, at least in my opinion. Pack 38 right there. And there we go, hitting the mine, although no losses. Still did some damage to the Pack 38 crew, making it easier to decrew. And looks like one stormtrooper was in fact damaged apparently, or was that something else? A machine gun moving forwards, not the 30 caliber one, but looks like an American mortar has in fact been prepared. Of course, riflemen just recruiting one of those airdrop mortars, but not bad. Airborne and riflemen charging in, and this anti-tank gun, which of course is low in health and will be quickly cleared out. Volkswagen is doing their best, but with no cover they will be rather exposed against all this firepower. Pack 30 Pack 38 managing to kill one rifleman, my goodness. MG42 hiding in this building, providing a dominant position on this Grenadiers, getting suppressed. Sherman advancing, opening up on the false Grenadiers right out in the open. And Sherman taking hits from the Pack 38. Stormtroopers are hiding, but no, they have been discovered. Flamethrowers airborne moving in. MG42 inside the building, though awfully exposed down to one man. And the Stormtroopers hit the mine while retreating, my goodness. Looks like Mangler is saving up quite a bit of manpower. Why on earth could he be doing that? Well, that's the rather simple explanation. He's probably getting a tiger and saving up for it, but now he's getting veterans free for his infantry. And then of course,
we're losing territory.
going that heavily for infantry when your blitzkrieg usually also signifies that you're only going to be using your Tiger for any sort of armor business, perhaps a Stu 42, but so far no Stu 42 or Sturmhaubitze is 43. So definitely he's going for the Tiger or Tiger. And once more going for the strategic point, but running straight into a Sherman. Oh dear, Sherman opening up. And of course, Shermans and their main guns do not care about elite armor. They shoot, they kill. Veterancy 2 now increasing penetration, and the Pioneers simply blown to bits by the 50 caliber machine gun. Grenadiers running away, airborne and stormtroopers duking out, but the stormtroopers are equipped with assault rifles, making them too much of a threat through the airborne, in particular since the airborne do not have anti-tank weaponry. Mortar advancing, few airborne to watch over it, and a forward barracks right here, quite interesting. Allows them to reinforce in the field and train on the field some units. Stormtroopers out in the open getting burned alive. Sherman opening up as well. And the Stormtroopers have absolutely nothing to defend themselves against the Sherman with. But other Stormtroopers with Pantrix are moving in. Pack 38 opening up on the Sherman. Sherman needs to turn about and present the front at least. But the mortar could be opening up on the Pack 38 as well. Strafing run, catching the Stormtroopers out in the open. Only one man left, retreating. Good uses of the strafing run, or at least getting it. Though I'm not entirely sure just using it on one team at a time is going to be quite the effective thing. Of course, things might be desperate. Pulse grenades doing out with the airborne, but the airborne are simply too much, even against Veterancy 3 pulse grenades. Grenade at the MG42 gunner inside. Sherman cleared out by the Pack 38, brewed up and crashed into the barn like a drunken farmer with his tractor. And reinforcing what they can in the base, but that's some rather unfortunate armor losses for the 24th. Stu 42 ready and very close to the Tiger. Only one command point, less than one in fact. He'll be able to call it in. Stormtroopers and full grenadiers and grenadiers are getting reinforced. Airborne caught out in the open, grenades being lobbed at them, but they clear out the anti-tank gun, but the grenadiers clear out several of them with a single Stahlgranate, also known as the stick grenade. Good old World War I weapon, which continued into World War II, although it did get an upgrade with a fragmentation sleeve, which did increase its damage. It was capable of mortar rounds flying in. Medics getting gunned down, and the mortar is a bit exposed, but an 30 cap machine gun is now ready, and there we go, suppressing the Stormtroopers. Yes, I know some American players say, well, the 30 caliber machine gun is rubbish. No, it's not. Just look, they're Veterans, the 3 Stormtroopers, and yet in seconds they were immediately suppressed and now are pinned. So do not underestimate it. Used properly, the 30 caliber machine gun can do quite a bit of damage, and this is actually a good use of the supply drop, actually using the weapons that follow with it. Sadly, I see a lot of people just creating a huge ammunition stockpile and now turning around to protect the east. Once more, Grenadiers running straight into it. 30 caliber. Oh dear, it has to reload. But now opening up once more. Oh dear, this could end up badly. The Grenadiers got a bit too close. Grenade goes off. Doesn't kill anyone. Does wound though, but they're pulling back. And the Grenadiers still suppressed. Make it out of there. And the Tiger has been ready. Stormtroopers in the center. Forward barracks are still there, and riflemen are probably quickly reinforcing. Veterancy 2 riflemen. Good show. Airborne reinforcing. Veterancy 1. No attempts right here. Continue though in the west. That could be useful. Only 97 victory points left though for our friend Mangler of the 91st Luftlande Division. Even despite the support of 17th SS Panzer Grenadiers, aka Stormtroopers. And looks like the airborne and engineers are charging in this Stormtrooper team, burning them alive. Stormtroopers a bit exposed, and the 30 caliber team ready in the building. Gaining Veterancy 1, gaining accuracy in fact, I believe.
They have lost.
And our full grenade team is cut down by the riflemen right out in the open. And now Stormtroopers with assault rifles charging in. And the Tiger has arrived. Tiger, schwerer Panzer. Charging ahead for the fatherland. Hauptmann Voss apparently in his Tiger 205. Crashing through the bocage, not caring about that. Strafing round moves in, suppressing the assault rifle equipped Stormtroopers. And how shall Rommelslayer respond to this? Not looking good at all. The Tiger is at the front, and it's opening up on its troops with its 88mm high explosive shells. Anti-tank gun though cleared up. Anti-tank gun dropped in the north. This could end up in a rather rounded situation for the Tiger, and the Tiger is trying to get out of there. Mines are hitting, mortar rounds flying, hitting something. Airborne killed. Anti-tank guns moving in to set up a small defensive front right here in the center to ensure that the forward barracks remains the same. And another anti-tank gun. Of course, that is one of the advantages of the airborne doctrine, and probably what Mr. Rommelslayer was banking on. That just in case he got armor, he could easily call in a lot of anti-tank guns. Well, that can of course end up a bit expensive. Tiger facing on 3 anti-tank guns, including a German one, or at least a firmer German one. Stormtroopers advancing with their assault rifles ready to clear up, but then again, they probably should have gone in front of the Tiger rather than behind it. Although the Tiger has managed to turn around, the anti-tank guns can just swivel about. And there we go, Stormtroopers at the same time getting stopped by the 30 caliber machine gun once more. Tiger taking quite a bit of damage, not looking good. Riflemen doing their best out in the open. Let's have a look at Rommelslayer. Stormtroopers pinned down, mortar firing up. Tiger, oh dear, no, Tiger blown to bits. A heavy loss for the 91st Luftlande Division. They managed to get a Tiger onto the field, now it's lost. Rest of Stormtroopers are taking heavy losses in the face of the 30 caliber inside the building.
Our front lines are collapsing.
Looks like there's some grenadiers heading for the central victory point, and currently, well, I suppose, oh dear, I forgot the mid-game analysis, my apologies, but I don't think much will gain now. But of course, again, the sort of problem for Mr. Mangler is currently he's rather relying only on infantry, not really any support weapons. He's just sort of throwing, even despite it's heavily veteran infantry, it's still just infantry hitting mines, and he's really taking a beating from it. He really needs something that can clear up the American position. In particular, this 30 caliber machine gun, of course, is proving to be quite a nuisance for him. Plus that mortar as well. Grant is engaging some riflemen, although that might still not end well. And Rommelslayer has finally managed to turn things around even slightly. It looks like a large airborne forces moving in, getting reinforced on the field. And of course the decision to basically go airborne and ready lots of anti-tank guns ready to call in did quite work, plus his ability to basically call in a supply drop and thus get himself a heavy machine gun and a mortar without having to build a weapon support center also worked out quite nicely. Stormtroopers advancing right into the face of all of these airborne. 12 airborne, although some are quite low and might need to get out of there rather quickly, although the Stormtroopers are taking quite a beating from all those M1 carbines, including the particular ones, the ones from, oh dear, a bun grenade clearing out a paratrooper team. And the rest are forced away in the face of the Stormtroopers now advancing on the anti-tank guns. Veteran C2 on this anti-tank gun. Grenadiers in the south. Riflemen moving in, mortar ready to provide a bit of supporting fire. Stormtroopers going for the strategic point. Riflemen going for the other Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers moving in after the anti-tank gun by the 30 caliber immediately suppresses them. And the Stormtroopers are rather exposed. One loss and the rest are running. Veteran C2 for the 30 caliber machine gun, good show. Other Stormtroopers also making a dash homewards. And securing the fuel point right there. Currently denying the German commander really any fuel points except the one right there. Grenade going in at there. Oh dear, 2 gunners dead. And will he be making an interesting mistake, or will he be sort of using wisely? And let us explain what is that. Well, of course, that is basically there's a trick to getting out your troops a bit more safely. Basically, you click there and then you click the unload button, which is there. And then you basically choose the door you want to, otherwise you might risk they choose the door that is conveniently closest to the enemy and right in the line of fire. We'll of course have to see what happens here. And there we go, popping out right by this door and gets shot in the back by the Grenadiers. Grenadiers leading a charge here in the center. Engineers in the west continually just harassing and seizing victory points. Not a bad idea from Rommelslayer, in particular now that the German commander is really lacking the victory points, and looks like Mangler has got himself a fresh sniper. Airborne advancing on the Grenadiers, charging ahead. More airborne, in fact. Rare you see a player go for this airborne, well, not like this at least. No recoilless rifles and no grenades, though. I mean, grenades could really have made a difference for Rommelslayer, I feel like. And now he's just having them gunned down out in the open again. Do not underestimate grenadiers. They are quite potent shots, do quite a bit of damage, and are quite accurate. Stormtroopers moving in, trying to hunt them down. Grenadiers as well. Mortar team also pulling out, and looks like the center is lost for Rommelslayer. quite unfortunate. Only 38 points left for Mangler. And now Rommelslayer has been forced off the field. And his forward barracks is quite exposed as well. Sniper firing away at these engineers, but apparently managed to miss with the first shot. Another flare throws him away. Another miss. And now the sniper might get burned alive. No, he seems to be making out there alive. Albeit a bit crispy. And smelling the smoke. Grenadiers charging right into the base. Of course, since there's no MG, they can do so safely, but they do get gunned down quite a bit. More airborne being called in. Absolutely incredible. Still no grenades for Rommelslayer's airborne, though.
The enemy is down to 25 points.
And popping right out in front of the nose of the grenadiers, coming up from the safety of the building, firing over the M1 carbines, while engineers are going for the central victory point. Riflemen and airborne, although not fully reinforced airborne, that's unfortunate. Small engagement right here in the center, and looks like the Americans have been surrounded by German forces on all sides. And assault, my goodness, forcing a retreat. Of course, it can quickly be circumvented, basically by just retreating. Which of course also means that the opponent will have wasted 50 munitions. Flamethrowers immediately open up on the grenadiers, and apparently another assault.
Front shifting. Crowds are grabbing territory.
Not looking good at all. Engineers getting sniped and shot by the grenadiers and sniper. Southern victory point is secured. In fact, now all victory points are quickly being secured by Mangler, and it is desperate attempt to turn the tide ever so slowly. And ensure he hasn't lost everything. Grenadiers and a single sniper holding off against these airborne, although the grenadiers are quite wounded. Sniper retreating. Grenadiers could also be forced to retreat. One grenadier down. And the rest are running away. And a Tiger number 2 has been called in. Or another Tiger 205 apparently. Hartmann Foss arriving once more to show those armies who's the boss. Stormtroopers advancing in from the rear, opening up, blasting away with assault rifles, tearing apart those airborne like were they cheap rice paper. And more airborne and riflemen getting ready. Apparently this is the veteran core of Rommelslayer's forces at the moment. 2 veterans, 2 infantry units. Can certainly do quite a bit of Stormtroopers charging in on the other airborne. But the Stormtroopers are taking ever so slowly damage from all this firepower being directed against them. And the Tiger moves in, but the anti-tank gun is ready, opening up. Perhaps even some armor-piercing rounds. Do more damage. Plus have an easier time penetrating. Mortar rounds flying. Almost fully reformed infantry units. Stormtroopers holding their best against all these forces, but are forced to retreat. 2 Stormtroopers lost, while a lot more Americans have been lost themselves. And the Tiger is taking quite a bit of damage. Northern victory point finally coming into American hands once more. And looks like the Americans might be going on a strafing run on the Grenadiers, leaving the Tiger tank behind to deal with the anti-tank gun. Oh dear, looks like the anti-tank gun might not survive. Sniper firing away at the riflemen. Grenadiers getting burned alive, and the Tiger takes quite a bit of damage, then proceeds to blast some riflemen into a bloody pulp on the road. Oh dear, that was quite unfortunate. The entire rifleman team lost for Rommelslayer, just at the stage where he kind of followed. But a rifleman team has been reformed, my goodness, after so long time. Airborne engaging these Grenadiers. Who shall be the victor of the fight? Probably not the airborne, since they are outnumbered with veterancy 3 Grenadiers. But looks more like more infantry is moving in. The anti-tank gun setting up in support, and these airborne are not even reinforced at all. Looks like Rommelslayer has gotten quite desperate and is now just charging in infantry without much support. Sniper continues to snipe away. Interestingly enough, there's been absolutely no further armor from the tank depot.
Casualties being reported.
Riflemen shot to bits by the Tiger and Grenadiers, while airborne are moving in towards the south for this victory point. And looks like assault is being used by the stormtroopers. Grenades flying through the air, blowing them into something indistinguishable. All stunned, one lost to a sniper, and more assault grenades flying through the air, doing quite a bit of damage, killing some airborne in fact, leaving others gravely wounded, asking for a medic.
Losing a victory point. We are losing a victory point.
But they do manage to secure the southern victory point, but sadly Rommelslayer retreats only 2 points away. Oh dear, oh dear. And his forces have been ever so drastically taking quite a beating. And there is still a Tiger waiting to crush him and his bones. Airborne moving in, trying to secure this. Another assault goes out from Mangler and his grenadiers of the 91st. Airborne getting stunned, sniped, gunned down, and probably blown to bits by that Tiger as well. Another set of grenades. And oh dear, that's 2 airborne teams lost to posterity. Another engagement right in the center. Engineers, airborne doing their best. Both veterans too, but the engineers are getting gunned down. So are the airborne, but they're doing slightly better. Grenadiers and snipers doing what they can in the center. Airborne also trying his best, perhaps trying to get that sniper. No, the sniper retreats. And the airborne are somehow holding up, but for not for long, I wager, not for long. And very, very little left for Rommelslayer and his forces. One airborne team doing its best to keep all the German troops occupied, while the rest are apparently making a move for the south.
Airborne has hit the field.
Engineers marching out with flamethrowers.
Airborne, yes,
Airborne towards the south. Anti-tank gun in the east, rushing in as well, but getting cleared up by the grenadiers. Quite unfortunate, but this is apparently the last step. Apparently this might be the stage where Rommelslayer makes it or breaks it. He's lost so much. So many men have died. Will the 24th Infantry Division, with the support of the 101st Airborne, be able to secure the fight here against the 91st? Or will it be a lost airborne team cleared out by a bunch grenade, leaving behind only this small force right in the center? Only 2 infantry teams left. Will they make it? Victory point has been secured. Strafing run moves in. The airborne are getting gunned down by their own airplanes, it seems. Tiger, snipers, firing away, doing their best to stop the Americans. If they manage to secure this victory point, then all might be lost for the Germans, because they will not be able to retake it. Although he could be moving in for this victory point, but apparently Mangler has given up. Or what?
Enemy unit down.
And there we go, a victory for the 24th Infantry Division. Quite a bloody game, quite violent, quite some losses for the Americans, and quite a vicious ending scene right there. Airborne hiding by the victory point, engineers charging ahead, fire, and tigers everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but you know, there's a tiger right there. Dun dun dun. So, what can we learn from this? Well, of course, this was rather some unfortunate situation from Rommelslayer right early on, where he threw his troops into some very risky situations which did not pay off. I mean, he was a bit too risk happy. At the same time, though, he did understand the necessity of mines, which was good. He also had some good wiring, and of course some rather sneaky maneuvers, constantly trying to move in through here, doing quite a bit of harassment. Good show by there from Rommelslayer. At the same time, our Germanic friend had one major problem though. He basically got stuck in tier 2, basically kept throwing infantry at his opponent without really any armor support beside the Tiger, and the Tiger got turned to scrap and are tired of anti-tank gun fire. So be careful about that. In general, of course, no medic station either for Germany in particular, which was all because he used so much infantry, but he had no medic bunker. That was bad. Of course, Rommelslayer had one, but he didn't quite get as much because before he got it up, he lost most of his infantry. Good usage of the 30 caliber machine gun, by the way, and the other machine gun and the mortar, but generally good usage of the supply drop as well. I mean, I'd like you to notice that. And of course, the recon run through his base. Try to use that if you're unsure of your opponent's doing and you're airborne. Well, just a quick reconnaissance run through space to sort of get an idea of what's going on and what to prepare for. So, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you did, why not subscribe or tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.